Hello, it's Zach Glenwright back once again with a Looper program preview.
Woo!
I haven't actually released a new version of Looper in like 2 years, but I've been working on it the last few months and the last year, and I've actually done quite a few modifications in the past like week and a half because I've had several requests for functionality in different parts of the program. Here it is. Looks pretty much the same as it usually does, but there are a few differences. Now let me get a file playing here. I'm going to do the Squirrel King thing that I just released as a test file, and as you can see I've done a lot of drafts for that project, but this is the best one here. That's the final. Let me make it a little bit smaller here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pick a few loops like I normally would. Let's see here. So let me just do like tail swishing here. I just want to do a few loops to show off what's new here. So okay, so that's tail swishing. One new thing that I did recently, the bracket keys and the keys underneath it do the in and the out trimming, but I added another hotkey to do always the default of 0.05, so it's 1/20th of a second. So shift and those keys do 0.05 regardless of what the trim amount is set to in the preferences. So if I do shift and the colon key here, I can go back just a little bit to tweak it so that this shot does not show any other shots. So let's do here swishy tail. Okay, climbing across the pole. Let me just say wire. Now one other new thing is the current playing event that's actually still playing. What I mean by that is like the in and out points match the event that has been made or is playing at the time will be colored now. Instead of just showing a select box, it will be colored whichever color the mode button is, and the text will be bolded. So if you're playing that specific event, it will be bold and green, and if you're in playlist mode, it will be bold and orange. And same deal with the randomize shuffle mode. It does the same thing for all of them. But that's getting a little ahead of what I want to show here. So let me find a few more endpoints here, a few more loops. This one here, squirrel sniffing, camera, and scent marking. If you notice that, there's a few like sneaky scent marking shots thrown in here where like they're scent marking in the middle of doing other things. Okay, falling feeder, and let's do. Now see a little bit of that next shot goes in here, so I can go back just a little tiny bit, forward just a little tiny bit, and now I got that shot by itself. Standing tall, or tail. Fine, tail. Close enough. Let's do a few more like close-up shots of them sniffing. Go back just a bit so it doesn't show anything else but that. Okay, good. Very close. Sniffing shot. Squirrel on the couch. Not here. Okay, squirrel on the raccoon couch. And I just want to have a few examples here before I showcase some of the new things. Squirrel grooming. Okay, now I have 8 different events. So as I go through the playlist and play each of them individually, you see the green highlight with the bold text that shows which one I'm on. As it plays that event, it'll highlight it that way. And if you move the event that's playing to a different location, it will still be highlighted. It will, it keeps the number of whichever event it originally was, but it now sets it as event 2, so it's playing 2 out of 8. If I move it here, it'll be 5 out of 8, and if I do it at the beginning, it's 1 out of 8. So okay, let me just move this back to 5. But same deal. Everything that's playing is now highlighted and bolded. And the main reason why I made that change was because I had a request to, you can have a playlist of 20 different events, but if you only want to play like 3, 6, 10, and 12, you can do that now. So let me switch to playlist mode here. It's going to play each of these individually because there's no selection. But if I tell it to select only the sniffing ones, this one and this one, it will only play event 3 and event 6. Because 3 and 6 are highlighted. And if I want to add another one, like 3, 6, and 8, I can do that. you just make another selection. So if nothing is selected in playlist mode, it plays everything, one after the other like it used to. If you have a specific selection set, this one and this one, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, it'll only play the ones that you have highlighted. Or not highlighted, but selected. So we'll play that in order of 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7. And I got another one here, 2, take 5 off. So then I'll do 2, 4, and 7. And that's the biggest basic, like, major feature improvement that I've done recently, is the ability to play items in a playlist and not have the entire playlist play, but just play a specific selection of things is now written in. Yeah, so that's the biggest change. So that's the biggest major change. There have been a few minor ones. Let me reload this here from its base file here. I use Looper a lot of times with another program I wrote called Looper Trimmer, which I have released it yet. But anyway, like, I use this program, my Looper program, along with my Trimmer program to produce kind of like EDL, like edit lists that I can then take into Trimmer, and then Trimmer will trim it down to like much smaller versions of the same file. And that way, well, it uses FFmpeg to do it, but it basically takes source material, like it can take a 5-hour-long recording from like an action cam that's like 5 hours straight from beginning to end, and it can trim the individual items that you need out of it in lossless quality to smaller, like Matroska or MOV files. So it's basically like a batch processor. This is the Trimmer window. So this is what I've been developing for also about as long as I have since I've released Looper the last time. But I'm not really trying to show this program off. What I'm trying to show is I made the ability to select several events, cumulative, not separate, but they have to be like one after the other, and you can right-click and choose Combine these events. And what that'll do is it'll take the endpoint from event 3, which is the one I started at, and the outpoint of event 5, which is the endpoint and outpoint, and it'll combine them into one event and reduce the time. So 3 is now 3 events, from 29 seconds to 1 minute 9 seconds. So instead of like just finding the endpoint and copying it, like you can literally, like I want one event instead of 2 events, one that starts here and ends here, combine these events, say yes, and then it saves it as a brand new event that combines the endpoint and outpoint of those other 2 events. The last thing, which I don't have 100% implemented yet, I had a request through email from someone going as We the People that wanted a headless version of Looper. And I had literally all I had to do to get it to do that is not tell it to build the window. Where's that at? There it is. So just comment this out, and now Looper is running. Oops, wrong program. Looper is running. You can't see it. There's no window for it. You know, there's no window for Looper, but it's running. As you can see, I can make in and out points, etc. And I can do pretty much all the same stuff I can do with Looper on a normal basis. Let me load that squirrel playlist I made. See, it's playing the same playlist. I can load the OSD and see it's playing event 1 out of 8. Go through the events just like I would if I was in Looper. But it's minimized to the system tray instead of to the taskbar. So I'm not 100% implemented with this yet. I need to find out a way to detect whether or not the window is showing. So I need to build like a toggle thing. And I started working on it. I made a tooltip, or a small context menu in the taskbar. It's where is that at? Tray, there it is. So like I made it here, but this is the part that I'm having problems with now. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a big deal once I figure out. I might just have to like set a global variable or something to let it know whether or not it's being hidden. But yeah, it works. You know, basically if you click on headless mode, it takes the GUI away, and then you won't have to you know, it won't be as an active window that you can jump to, but it still has all the same features. So let's go to another event, let's go to another event. You can speed things up, slow them down, just as you would with Looper. You can see what's going on if you turn the OSD on. Go to the next event, slow that down. Yeah, so you can pretty much do, I mean, you can even do the same, like go to playlist mode, you can go to shuffle mode, you can do all the same things you'd be able to do with Looper just without seeing it do them, you know. It's basically transparent in the background. It acts like, you know, there's no GUI at all. And that will be the next step. Yeah, I'm not quite there yet. I know what I want to do to implement that, but I'm not quite at that point. But I'm getting there.